and welcome to this video. My name is Anushka Gandhi, and in today's video I'm going to talk about a very casual topic. Now this is a very impromptu kind of a video because the other day I was just thinking that it's been almost over 3 years of me being in Canada, and I've come across a lot of different things. There have been always good and bad experiences coming along through these 3 years, and then I thought that I should sit down and make a video on different things which were actually kind of new to me as a new immigrant or an international student here in Canada. And I thought of sharing these incidences or these little things with you so you could expect to come across similar situations or similar kind of things when you come here in Canada. So it's going to be about the cultural shock which I came across when I came here in Canada from India, obviously. So these are things which we probably do not practice a lot in India, and were kind of new to practice or to in general experience these things here in Canada. So before we begin with this video, just a quick request to you guys: if you haven't subscribed my channel already, and if you love watching my videos, please consider to subscribe to my channel because you're going to find a lot of value on this channel. Now, without wasting any further time, let's get started with this video. So we all know that Canada is a land of different cultures. Herein you would see people from literally all over the world staying together happily. So and of course of all age groups. Now this first thing which I came across and was like a cultural shock to me was calling people by their first names irrespective of their age. So even if I'm in my 20s and if I come across a person who is in their 80s, still I am supposed to, or like the culture here says, you're supposed to be very casual and you need to call the person by their first name or perhaps a nickname if they have any. They might be your professors, they might be your relatives. Well, people generally call each other by their first names or their nicknames, and that's the culture here. It's nothing new to them. It's obviously a shock. Calling professors by their first name was the first thing which literally shook me, because we're often habitual of calling professors by their giving them a title such as sir, ma'am, madam, teacher. But herein you're not supposed to do that. Sometimes they get offended because they think they're too much respected, but honestly it's very cool here, and you're supposed to be very casual while calling each other with your first names or just names. The biggest thing, or sometimes it really gets awkward because, for example, I'm an Indian and we always had this habit of calling each other, like not each other but the elderly people, saying auntie, uncle, or stuff like that. And then if some elderly Indian person comes in front of me, it really gets to my nerves because it really confuses me as to, am I supposed to call them just their first name since we are here in Canada, or should I just follow my own roots and believe in, or just follow my own culture and call them, give them that respect with while using a title. So this is the first cultural shock, which was really a shock. So the second shock, which was actually kind of a shock for me, was right after I landed here in Canada. When my driver was driving me to my hotel room, I realized that people here actually have good driving etiquettes. They follow driving rules very vigilantly and very seriously, which is actually a good thing. You'll always see the signboards with speed limits mentioned on every road here in Canada, and you are supposed to follow the same speed limit. You're supposed to be within the limit while driving, irrespective of where you are. Besides that, you always need to give priority to the pedestrians. And not just that, in these 3 years of me staying here in Canada, I actually haven't heard anyone honking. So I've not really heard any car buzzing their horns for any reason. Now it could probably happen very rarely. In case someone is a rash driver, you might want to honk in order to just let them know that, hey, it's very disturbing. But otherwise, for me personally, I haven't heard a single person honking. So, and that's not unusual here in Canada. You're not supposed to honk your car, you're not supposed to buzz your horn unless necessary. So that's the second shock The next shock, which was unusual for me, was there's no maximum retail price here in Canada, meaning one product can be sold at any possible rate here in Canada at any store. So basically, what I mean to say is the same product could price differently in different stores, including gas, including at gas stations. Different gas stations would have different prices at the same time on the same day. So you could expect to find a gas cheaper at one store and a little expensive in a different store. Same goes for any grocery products or literally anything and everything. There's no maximum retail price. So that is how it works. Anything can cost literally anything, you never know, but you always have an access to check at every store. And at some stores there's also a price match system wherein you could price match with the other store where you find the same stuff for cheaper. So that's how it works here. The fourth shock was when I actually went to a mall for shopping, and I saw this lady who was kind of in her 80s or 90s, I would say, shopping for herself, buying some clothes. And it was kind of shocking for me actually, because it's very rare to see elderly people going on a shopping spree just by themselves, driving by themselves. But here in Canada it's very common. Elderlies, especially those after 80s and 90s, also drive by themselves, live by themselves, look after themselves and shop for themselves. So basically they're very independent here. They do all sort of things just by themselves, and it's very natural to not stay with their kids or grandkids and staying just them. So this is kind of was kind of very amusing to watch the lady very curiously buying stuff for her. So that was one of the shocking thing which I saw, because in India, believe it or not, you would not see people who are over 80 years of age shopping by themselves or really traveling by themselves. So this was kind of a shock for me. And last but not the least is the sorry, thank you, please culture here in Canada, which I've already mentioned in a couple of my previous videos, that here in Canada, if you want to survive, or if you want to just level up with the Canadians here, you have to make a habit of saying please, saying thank you, and saying sorry for any purpose. For example, even if you go in a coffee shop, want to get just a coffee for yourself, you would rather say hey, can I please get a coffee? And when you get that, you just have to say thank you. And even if it's not a mistake, you're still supposed to say sorry. It's just a part of being very polite, and it's just a part of Canadian culture, which was kind of shocking because people are not really very tolerable or very polite when it comes to some countries. But here in Canada, you're supposed to be using these 3 words almost every day and every time. So I think that's all about today's video. It was just a very casual video. Just wanted to share something different, something new about Canada. Especially these were the things which I thought were kind of different for me all throughout these 3 years of me being in Canada. If you have come across something which is like a cultural shock to you, please comment down below so I get to know what was your experience about that. If you have any questions about anything coming as an international student or an immigrant here in Canada, comment down below. Again, I'll try my little best to get back to you there, and I'll see you back in my next video. Until then, goodbye.